All right, kiddos, 8 minutes has elapsed. Let's come back together. It's like 11 of you are able to respond. If you're still working, just try to wrap it up. Looks like you're feeling good about Chapter 8 material, based on your answers. So what takes up 99.8% of the mass of our solar system? What's the biggest thing?
The sun.
It is indeed the sun. No one went with your mama. It's too tempting of an answer to put in there. But other classes, some people went with it. All right, beyond there, yes, looks like you're feeling good about astronomical units. I know it's weird, but basically we've taken the distance from the Earth to the sun and set that as sort of like a standard, like that's 1 unit. And then we use that. Space is so big that you can use something like that. It's kind of relates to moles almost, and how moles was also a big number to use to quantify big things because space is so vast. And the sun is a liquid, which is pretty crazy to think, and so it doesn't rotate evenly. What do you think of that movie clip? How many of you have seen Gravity before? Sandra Bullock. Wow, not very many of you. Definitely a movie I recommend you check out. I don't know where it's available, but it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty intense movie. Special effects are amazing. Just looking at that one clip as well. So yes, that is describing what's called the Kessler effect, which is the idea that there's so much trash out in space that eventually what could happen. Most of you got this.
It's like a domino effect that it hits everything down the line.
Yeah. So imagine like a cloud of bullets, right? Debris that's suddenly moving really fast. And in the movie, it's the Russians have like blown up one of their satellites, and then the debris started to hit other debris, and it creates like this cloud. But yeah, this is something that NASA has thought about. It hasn't happened, but it's something that could theoretically occur. It would be a problem because, all right, yes, wiping out the International Space Station and the space shuttle, those would be bad. But satellites would also get wiped out. And does anyone know what that would affect here on the ground?
Like phone connection.
Internet.
Yeah, so Wi-Fi connections, telephones, satellite TV, a lot of that stuff would suddenly get really spotty. Now, I don't know if it would cut out entirely because we also have cell phone towers and things like that. Those would still be operational. But global communications, and especially in things like global stock markets and stuff, would definitely suffer because right now we really rely on satellites to bounce information around our planet. So anyway, not something I think would really occur. And even if it did, I don't think it would last a very long time. You know, everyone has this idea of, oh, we'd be trapped on Earth, but debris would eventually fall into the atmosphere and burn up. So anyway, but kind of a interesting idea and a cool movie that kind of took that concept and went with it. So, all right, before we move on to new content, I wanted to just give you a chance to ask about any of the homework. I assume everyone's good on the PhET orbit quiz and posting to the Flipgrid. You got that done in our previous class? If you haven't, make sure you have done that. The only other homework is then to make your drawing. Most people feeling good there with their calculations and drawing your orbits. Cool. All right, I'll grade those as soon as I can. Every week, I'm going to check in with you about Rube Goldberg. Does anyone know what our goal for this week is? If anyone's looked at the project description.
To get like a frame.
Yes, so the idea is to get a base or a frame going. And so we'd like this to be wood or something solid, not cardboard. Stay away from cardboard because cardboard's going to get wet or tear. It's not reliable. But you can get creative with other stuff too. I have a link to the assignment right there. I'll show it to you right now. Share my screen. Just to give you an idea of what we're getting at. So you have until Monday to try to pull something together, but ideally it would be a wood board of some kind that you could then drill or attach things to. I have some pictures here, but if you don't have, access to wood paneling or anything like that, I don't want you to go out or put yourself at risk or spend money to buy it. You don't have to do that. That's not a requirement. Look around if you've got an old table or old desk or even an old chair that you're okay with just drilling into or attaching things to, that could be used. Empty fish tanks work well. You can do a lot with those and attach things if you've got something like that lying around. Old tack boards, old picture frames, anything that's sort of wooden and flat that you're okay with then attaching or messing up in a little bit could work as a frame. And so I've got some pictures here. Again, you can see the wood paneling, and a lot of these are just old desktops. There's a photo of one in a fish tank here. Gives you an idea of what you're trying to achieve with this. We want something that, again, is more sturdy than cardboard. It's going to need to hold things up and be reliable, consistent. So let me know if you have trouble accessing anything like that, or if you really have no options, and we can figure stuff out together. The only other thing that I've added is that a time detail. I'm going to set the standard that your permanent machine has to run for 15 seconds at a minimum. So it has to be at least 15 seconds long for the 4 tasks or whatever it is that you selected to be completed. So plan around that. There's no maximum time. I mean, it could go for, hopefully it's not going for like 10 minutes. That'd be kind of boring, but 15 seconds is your minimum time goal. So that's the goal for this week. Any questions on Rube Goldberg? Right, and again, I can help you case by case basis depending on what resources you have available to you. All right, then what I would like to do now is introduce you to one of the projects that we're pretty much going to use to round out our year here. We're going to end with basically Rube Goldberg project, this project, and maybe one more thing relating to Mars. But I'm calling this this is task number 4 right here, the Solar System Online Lesson Project. I'm going to give you time to read through the description and answer some questions, but in short, you're going to work in pairs. You're going to choose a section of chapter 28 that you're then going to prepare an online lesson, about 20-minute online lesson for your classmates to work through. This won't be live. This is just something you make that everyone can work through independently. And it's got to include an assessment as well. And that's how we're going to get through the solar system in chapter 28. So I'm going to give you the next 15 minutes to read through the project description. The link is right there on Canvas under task number 4. So read the project description. And while you're doing that, answer the questions that are in this Google form. It's sort of just a short quiz that is meant to highlight the most important takeaways from the description, right? Key things about the project. And then if you want, once you've gotten through that, start thinking about who you want to work with. I have a little survey below that part under where it says partner selection. It's a Google form where I want you to select the top 3 people you'd like to work with. It would be great if you're okay with kind of messaging. You can use Zoom to chat back and forth, or you've all got cell phones or whatever other chat mechanisms. Communicate with someone in the class and see, hey, would you like to work together or not? I'll do my best to put people together. I'm going to prioritize time zones as well. So people who are in the same time zone, pretty much going to put you together. But otherwise, just let me know who you'd like to work with. So take 15 minutes, read the project description, solar system, Google form, and fill out the partner selection thing as well. And then we'll touch back and I'll give you a task to do. I assign partners, and then we'll move on from there. I'll be here listening if you've got questions, but otherwise 15 minutes to do those first 2 things. Go for it.
Is there going to have to be a group of 3 like last time? Or
Yes, I think because we are a class of 15 here, yes, there will probably be a group of 3. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Watching these outside of class?
Well, no, we'll use class time to do them. Like, I'm not gonna expect you to use time outside of class to do them. But yeah, you'll be doing it in class. It just won't be live. So when the class is doing your lesson, you're just expected to sort of be on standby to like answer questions, offer help with links or directions or anything like that. Yeah, but it won't be like a live presentation.
So the class just watches my presentation and then.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, it's 20 minutes, and so like for 1 period, we'll try to get through 3 lessons. That'll be about 60 minutes with 10 minutes of like wiggle room in between. And yeah, whether it's a video or a podcast or just something they click through, they'll work on that for 20 minutes. Yep. Mm-hmm. And take your assessment as well. So looking at the questions, there looks like there is a little bit of confusion about some of the key takeaways from the description. So I just want to highlight those. First of all, in short, it won't be a live presentation. You're going to be working in pairs to give a lesson that people will work through independently, but we will use class time. You'll still be here. You'll be offering help through the lesson. What am I not allowing you to use?
Google
Slides.
And use Google Slides. Now, some of these programs, you might need to use Google Slides as a starting base to then like upload information or to show something. That's okay. It just can't be solely Google Slides that you're using. You got to use one of these other online tools that I have listed. There's also tools for assessment. Looks like all of you got that. It's just 4 or 5 check for understanding questions. And please note, those can come anywhere. So you can ask questions throughout the lesson, right? Like maybe one every, at the beginning, the middle, and the end, or just have them all at the end. It's up to you. You're the designer of this. It should fit within 20 minutes. That's both the lesson and the assessment. So you might want to think about maybe like a 15-minute reading or video or something, and then 5 minutes to maybe tackle the assessment questions. But we're going to cut us off at 20 minutes so that we can move on to the next
Are
thing.
Edpuzzles okay?
Yep, Edpuzzle is a good one to use. That's great because you can put in questions, so that kind of lets you like, if you've got 5 questions throughout your video, then that's your assessment, right? And then you'll see Edpuzzle collects the the results, which is pretty useful. All of this is going to be posted on Canvas. You all understood that. And who's going to be making the actual test for this final unit?
We are.
Yes, I'll be collecting questions from all of you, and they could either be your same assessment questions or new ones that you've written. But again, we'll get to that once we're done with the presentations. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take the data from the partner selection and quickly try to pair everybody up. Again, I'm going to prioritize time zones, but then I'll look at your choices as well. While I'm doing that, I would like you to watch a short video of SpaceX launching a rocket and then landing that same rocket. So this is a task in between. So everyone sees it says Lunar Lander Game. There's a little SpaceX Falcon Heavy launch video I'd like you to watch, and then there's a Lunar Lander Game where you have to try to touch down a rocket of your own and see if you can accomplish a soft landing. So I'm going to time for 10 minutes. Hopefully it will not take me that long to assign partners, but that's how long I'm going to give myself. So we'll check back in 10 minutes once I've got partners assigned. Go for it. All right, kiddos, I managed to assign everybody, so let's come back together for the big reveal. Go ahead and pause the video or pause the activity if you're doing it. Was anyone able to achieve a soft landing with your lunar lander? Anyone remember your speed? Anyone get like 0.2?
I got
1.1.
1.1?
I got
0.8.
1.6.
0.6, 0.8, nice. All right. Yeah, I think the trick is to hit the space bar. I didn't realize that until my 4th or 5th time playing, but the space bar gives you like that full blast. You guys think it's pretty incredible what SpaceX has done. So you see that they're reusing rockets now. So the rockets launch the shuttle up and then they fall back down and then they land standing, which I think is just nuts and pretty incredible. But anyway, okay. So partners pretty much fell into place, very similar to our ocean issues groups as well. So we got Cameron and Olivia, Bella, Neil, Nadia, you'll be a group of 3 like you were last time. Luca and Kenson, John and David, Molly and Carmen, Hank and Rory, Vicky and Matthew work together. They're in their own separate time zones. So feeling good about that. All right, I have created breakout rooms, which I'm gonna assign to you right now. What I'd like you to do is take the next 5 minutes to chat with your partner and look through the topic selection. And there's another Google form. I know you're probably getting sick of Google Forms right now, but this is right underneath on Canvas. It is right underneath that video and Lunar Lander Game. The third one is topic selection. And there's another Google form there where you're gonna list your top 3 choices for the topic. And I'll pick those out after class. And you can start working on that as homework. But I'll time for 5 minutes. Put you in your breakout rooms, chat, and decide. You need to agree. So I really only need one of you to fill out the form, right? Because I don't need doubles, right? So just one person fills out the form. So decide who's going to fill the form out and what you're going to select as your first, second, and third choices. Okay, invites are out now.